Just take a look at what the United States says is the longest ever cross-border drug trafficking tunnel. It connects a house in Tijuana, Mexico, to a lot in California spanning some 730 meters. It's so advanced, it even has an elevator. U.S. investigators announced 6 arrests last week in connection with this tunnel. It was used to send tens of thousands of kilos of marijuana and cocaine into the United States. Mexico is among the countries considering whether or not to legalize medical marijuana. If it does, it would follow the lead of others in Latin America, including Colombia. While supporters there are generally happy, even though they are concerned about the potential for new regulations, bureaucracy, and costs. CCTV's Michelle Begue has insight from Bogota.
Little Valeria Rincon was diagnosed with epilepsy when she was just a few months old, and she did not respond well to traditional drug treatment. Baby Lele, as her mother calls her, was taking 4 anti-seizure medications and still having as many as 3 seizures a day. Her mother says those drugs kept her baby in a constant drunk-like state. Then a pediatrician suggested an alternative.
We gave her the first drop of cannabis, and Valeria's seizures went from every day to every 3 days. She lasted 3 days without convulsing, so we kept increasing her dosage. Then she started to convulse only every 3 months, so that was a huge improvement.
Zuluaga says her daughter has not had a seizure in 8 months now, thanks to medical marijuana. Valeria takes 1 drop of cannabis oil 3 times a day and complements it with 1 traditional anti-seizure medication. Valeria is just one of the patients benefiting from President Juan Manuel Santos's decree last December, legalizing the production and sale of cannabis for medicinal purposes.
We have just taken a big step in making Colombia a country at the forefront of medicine, and we are doing it with a decree that hopes to take the benefits of cannabis, marijuana, to better the lives of citizens.
3 months after the decree was signed, Colombia approved the sale of Sativex, a marijuana-based pharmaceutical mouth spray used to treat muscle spasms caused by multiple sclerosis. Critics say big pharmaceutical firms are trying to cash in on societal shifts in medical marijuana and driving costs sky high. In New Zealand, for example, a yearly prescription for Sativex can cost $16,000 US.
The worst thing that could happen to us is that even though we are producers of cannabis, we will now have to import it from other countries for our medicinal use.
A concern that may be ironed out by Colombian politicians, now working to codify President Santos's decree into national law. The lead senator on the bill says local production of medicinal cannabis will be promoted so it can develop as an industry. And he insists the primary goal of the law is to benefit patients.
For patients, we want to regulate the use of this substance under 4 principles: security, access, quality, and price.
It's unclear how lawmakers might attempt to keep prices down. For now, the cost of Valeria's Colombian-made cannabis oil is affordable. Her mother says she is glad there will be regulation to ensure quality for years to come. She also hopes that any law will open the minds of doctors who have refused to consider this alternative approach.
I told Valeria's pediatric neurologist what we were giving her, and it was like I was telling her that I was giving my baby a bottle of whiskey every single night. She was very mad. She stopped giving us preferential appointments.
For Zuluaga, there is no controversy surrounding medical marijuana. To her, it is quite simply the miracle plant that has brought back her daughter's smile. Michelle Begue, CCTV, Colombia.